Trying to make sense of it, when my mum came in behind me, she seemed hurried, got a glass of ice water, and told me to stay away from the white powder and to go back to playing games. Then, as quickly as she entered, she left. I was still hungry, and she left so quick I wasn't able to ask her about food, so I followed her. She went to Barbara and Sparky's bedroom where Barbara was lying in bed. She looked like she was having a bad dream, but her eyes were wide open. Her head thrashed about and was muttering. Something about Sparky and Christmas. She went on like that for a few minutes, nothing at the time. Being funny, so I laughed about it. My mum's face just grimaced. Gave Barbara a cold water. Barbara was crying as well. On the way home, I asked her about what she said, the Christmas one. I asked her if Santa Claus, if it was, why she was talking about him in the summer. I don't remember what she told me. She probably just dodged the question, or spoon-fed something that an innocent child would believe. My mum ended up breaking ties with Barbara and Sparky after that. I never knew why though, but I wasn't sad to never see them again. I was sad that I never got to play those video games again. I live in a slightly rural spot, and there are also some lone metalhouse nearby. One night, after about midnight, I hear banging on my door. I think it was my boyfriend because he called me earlier saying that he may or may not have round. When I got to the door, I looked through the small glass window, but instead of my boyfriend, I saw the side of an unfamiliar dude's face. He didn't see me, and I backed away from the door. My house was in a cellular dead zone, so I knew myself was useless. I grabbed the landline next to my bed to call 911, but the line was dead. It was just like the horror movie where the killer cuts the phone line. Meanwhile, the guy was still pounding away and slurring, "Let me in." I grabbed the biggest chef knife I own, which is pretty huge, and locked myself in the bathroom. I stood at the edge of the tub under the shower curtain, figuring I might have a chance to jump him if I stabbed him between the neck and shoulders when he tried to bust the door. I was terrified, but also pleased with my plan and waited. He started working his way around the outside of the house. I could hear him sliding his hands along, sliding, and banging his fists along the wall. For a split second, I reveled in my surprisingly badass plan, and then I realized that the sabotaged phone hadn't been charged in days. Maybe one of the other handsets still worked. I've never felt more fear than the moment I climbed down from my hiding spot, unlocked the bathroom door, and went in search for the second handset. All the while, a madman was moving around the outside of my house, violently trying to unlock every door and window. I found a phone, and it worked. I dialed 911, but the closest officer was over 15 minutes away. I was told to stay on the line, but locked myself in the bathroom again. That was the longest 15 minutes of my life. When police arrived, they had me identified, a cuffed, scruffy, drunken off his arse, dirty hippie kid. Apparently, there had been a party down the road. He got disoriented and thought my house was his friend's house. He was trying to get back inside the party. 15 minutes of pure terror. Moral of the story, keep your phones charged, people. This happened a few years ago, but I've decided I can talk about it now. After moving out of my neighborhood, I realized how unnerving the experience was. A few years SUV would continue to pass. The SUV stopped as car parallel to mine, blocking the air. I keep the car running with the lights off and get my phone to call 911, but there was no way to get out. I had a brick wall in front of me and cars on either side, and this guy behind me. To get to my building, or anywhere I could scream for help, I would have to pass this car. I had never been this scared before. I was a sitting duck waiting for some faceless monster to emerge from the SUV and attack me. Unfortunately, the combination of the long shift and my car tried originally braking, my phone was dead. Then I hear my dog Tito growl from the back seat. I thank my lucky stars I brought him to work with me. He was so quiet this whole time, I almost forgot he was here. So for context, my dog is a pit bull Dalmatian Jack Russell mix. He was also feral before I got him. He's small, that has a lot of muscle, and extremely loyal behavior. Most people just how small he is until he's right next to me. And at this point, the SUV had blocked the entrance to the premises. He sits silent, knowing something is wrong, and begins barking and snarling, then checking the back window. He has an extremely loud and powerful bark, and no one has gotten out of the SUV yet. But Tito is chomping his gnashes, showing whoever was looking that he was ready to sink his teeth into them. At that point, the SUV books him. It pulls a hard U-turn and drives past me. It then sits at the entrance, where it was facing before facing my car. I wait another 5 minutes before the car turns around and drives out of the neighborhood out of sight. I sprint to my apartment with Tito in tow and lock the doors behind me. I didn't sleep a wink that night. I hated that neighborhood. I felt safe for the 2 years I lived there, but in hindsight I should have called the police. But I tried to convince myself that it may have been a misunderstanding. Thankfully, I live somewhere that's actually safe with my boyfriend, and a very lovely neighborhood. And Tito, of course. Early this morning at approximately 3 a.m., our 8-year-old daughter came into our room because she had a headache. As I sat up to let her settle into our bed to sleep, I noticed something strange behind her. It's hard to explain. It was tall, probably around 6 feet. It was dark, and I could see through, but it was an ambush. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to scare my daughter, and I lay back down hoping that if I ignored it, she would go away. About 2 minutes pass, and it says my name. I turn around to look into its face, and I sense we make eye contact and disappear. I turn back to look at my daughter and thank her. 2 hours later, as my partner and I are making breakfast, I mention the encounter to him. He states that when our daughter came into the room, he saw another person in the room. He originally thought it was me standing behind our phone. I explained to him I never got out of the bed. He asked me if I knew how his name and feeling. We talked about it and went on with our morning. I don't know what it was, but it frightened me for 10 years. We moved into a rental house in a pretty villa surrounding the ocean. When we moved to a new state, around this time, my son started having problems going to sleep at night. It's normal for toddler boys to have night terrors and never calm down. He would frequently wake up and burst into screams. He couldn't articulate what was going on. We connected the dots one night when my wife was reading the news. Out of the blue, Ross points into the corner of his room by the closet and asks, "Is that man Daddy?" There were no shadows, nothing in the corner. He was around 2 at the time, so he was going to bed when it was still relatively light outside. He saw the form of a man standing on the floor. He only mentioned it once, was ready to go. I get a drink and walk out towards the kitchen. There's a bathroom to the right of the hallway. I saw the tail of an end of a dog go into the bathroom. I didn't think anything of it. There were 4 dogs there. I glanced into the bathroom to see which dog it was, but the bathroom was empty. I turned on the lights of the bathroom. No dog. Just then, came in from outside, and I asked him if anything was wrong. He said no, but still was. I said I just saw a dog go into the bathroom, and he looked at me. Well, the dogs are out here. I went on into the bedroom where my mother and daughter were, and I told them what I saw. My mother said, Iule, I told you I see you all the time. I know. I saw a dog go into that bathroom. There is no way you could convince me that I didn't. It didn't scare me or freak me out. It just really got me thinking that I saw something. When I was younger, me and my family went on a road trip to Wyoming to see Yellowstone National Park. It's a beautiful place if you haven't seen it. I'd recommend it. Anyway, so from our home in California, it was about a 17-hour drive in our Yukon XT, the largest, most comfortable road trip SUV. It took us several days driving to get there. And we would try to find a little episode. One of the nights, being behind schedule, I had a taxi drive through the night to get us there soon. He made us follow the enemy out. He deemed it safe to park us in this little middle of the woods, in some flyover. Me and my brother walked the car several hours before sunset. So for at least a couple of hours, we fell asleep in the car, in this dark parking lot, surrounded by forests. Having got a good couple of hours sleep, being in a pretty comfortable position, in the middle of the night, quite disoriented. I looked around, seen everyone fast asleep in this pitch black night, and that's it. I tried to fall asleep, but it's just not working out. I sit there for a while, settling in, looking up, see the car. It's pitch black, can't see jack shit. I'm getting the feeling that we shouldn't be here. I wasn't the type to a couple of flashlights in my bag. Being careful not to disturb my sleeping family, I reached into the back seat, unzipped my bag, and pulled out a little bursting yellow flashlight. It wasn't the brightest, but it was enough to see the foreground of Jeffrey's. I put it up to the glass before making any noise, and pushed the lid to the switch and turned it on. I pressed my face against the glass. At first, it looked like a with some bushes, whatever. But as I scanned the darkness, looking for animals and buildings, I noticed this dark shape standing in the distance. It looked like a man, but it was not moving, just sitting there. And after watching it, guys, it's Mort here, and thank you so much for listening. I have a few big announcements to make for you. I have a very big, special video dropping in the next day or two. It is probably the best creepypasta I've ever read. Not to mention it's featuring the amazing Nature's Temple. So stay tuned, as we're going to impress you. It's not to be missed. Also, my artist Angeliki has started her own channel telling scary stories. It would mean the world to me if you would click the link on the screen later or in the description to check her out and show her some love. Thanks for that. Don't forget, the merch store is up. So head on over for some sweet ones to keep your finger powder. Best get it quickly if you want it before the holidays. And remember that if you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like and leaving a comment, as it is a really great way to help support the channel. I appreciate it tremendously. And if you'd like to do something incredible, and perhaps even a little festive, to help support the channel further, feel free to visit my Patreon. You can find the link in the description as well as the links to my social media. And if you would like your story read on my channel, you can submit it as a text voice directly, or send me via email. Both links can be found in the description. But anyway, for now guys, I'm going to sign off. And why not join me using the link on screen to follow me over to Angelique's channel. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, it's going to be a long, so get comfortable. Stay control. I was sitting in my car, a better to be done, eating my lunch and reading a book as usual. Normally I kept my windows open to prevent situations like this from happening. But when I first got home, no one was in. So I wrote them all the way to